Hello again everybody, welcome back to LilyLuLou. My name's Karen. If you haven't been here before, very warm welcome to you. I am also known as the Junk Journal Geek across my social media platforms, and if you are a returning visitor, welcome back. Thank you for coming and joining me again today. So as you can see, I'm still working away on Miss Martha. Now, before I start, I will just explain I'm back down videoing in my kitchen again, which you can probably tell by the different background. So I'm back in the situation where somebody could walk in at any minute, the dog might bark. So I'm going to apologise in advance for any noises or interruptions. And I will explain, I'm also waiting for a parcel to arrive, so the dog will go mental. I will try and stop the video straight away if that happens, but I just need to apologise in advance. And as we're going through, I'll give you an update on what's been happening and why I'm back down in my kitchen. So I'm back working on Miss Martha, as I said. If you haven't been here before, this is a design team project for Sunny Creates. Sorry, the dog was moving. I thought he was going to start barking. And I'm using this lovely digital kit called So Beautiful. Now, I've done a bit more bits and pieces through this, not very much admittedly, but I've made a few journal cards, and I'm at the point now where I want to sew in my signatures. And I've been umming and ahhing because I wasn't quite sure how to do this with using this soft type of cover. Usually when I make a journal like this, I do make a hard cover. And I've been umming and ahhing whether to decorate the cover first and then sew the signatures in, or whether to put the signatures in first and then decorate the cover. But I decided that I think I need to have the signatures in place now so that I know where things are going to lie on the cover. Now, I did think I was going to sew the signatures straight into the cover. So I started marking out. You probably can't see this, it's a bit faint. I've got lines here where my signatures were going to go, and I started punching my holes. But the problem with that is when you come to actually sewing, the holes are very difficult to see on this side. So when you're going back in from this side, I think I'm going to struggle. So I abandoned that idea quite quickly and thought I would go back to how I usually sew signatures in, which is to sew them to a spine and stick it in. Now, my only issue with doing this is I'm worried that because I've lined the bag that I've used with this tissue paper, if I stick this down to the tissue paper, will it pull the tissue paper off and will the signatures fall out? So I think I'm going to actually have to use a longer piece and a wider piece, and then perhaps try very carefully to stitch around the piece once the signatures are sewn in, which is going to be tricky on my machine, unless I come up with another idea. But yeah, I've been umming and ahhing, and I really can't see another way of doing this. I really did want to sew the signatures directly in, but as I say, I do think it's going to be a struggle trying to see what I'm doing from this side. So this is going to be interesting, isn't it? What to do. See, the thing is, of putting a spine in, it's going to make it more sort of firm here, and this was supposed to be more of a squishy sort of affair. So I don't know whether to try maybe do one signature straight through and see how I get on. Yeah, let's do that. I'll try doing one signature from this side straight through onto the cover, and if it's really tricky, then I'll take it out and we'll have a rethink. So let's finish punching these holes and let's see how we get on. So this could be a disaster, darling, but you never know unless you try. So I'm just, I'm going to do the 5-hole pamphlet stitch because I know what I'm doing then. So I'm just punching these holes right through, and all I've done here is I've drawn 4 lines, 1 for each signature. Then I've drawn a line across the centre, and then another line at 1.5 inches up that way. Now where have I done them? I've done this one at the centre, then this one is 1.5 inches away, and that one's another 1.5 inches away, and then I've done the same down here. So I should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes, and I need to do that on each of the 4 lines for each signature, but I'm not going to do it for each signature right now in case this first one, you know, I decide is too rubbish and I want to do something else. And the other thing I haven't done is I haven't decided on what thread I'm going to use to sew the signatures in. I didn't know whether to use a colour, whether to use this. If it's going to be showing on this side, it's going to be going from here and then across here. I don't know whether to maybe find a blue embroidery thread. I mean, the white I think is going to be too stark. Although I do have white lace on the edges now. Or I could go with the brown, which sort of blends in with some of these colours. And I have used brown stitching in the book. I'm just not sure if it will be too dark inside. Oh, I think it'll be all right because we've got a lot of brown in the papers. So yeah, maybe we'll go with that. So it seems absolutely ages since I last sewed a signature into anything. I've obviously been doing a lot more ephemera type bits and pieces recently rather than you know, full journals. So right, so I'm just trying to line everything up where I want it to be sitting. Oh, these are floating about in here because I was thinking about sticking them onto the backs of some of these papers to give them a little bit more body, but I'll show you what I was doing there another time because we're focusing on the stitching today, aren't we? So this needs to go up a little bit, so it's sort of in the middle. So how are you all today? I hope you're all happy and well and managing to get some crafting done yourselves. I've got big changes going on again here, in that my middle daughter, who, as you know, was working away and I stole her bedroom for my craft room, is now home again. She has got a new job where she will now be away for 2 weeks at a time and then home for 2 weeks. So she needs her bedroom back. So I am gradually moving everything back down into the kitchen, which is where I used to work. Which is why I am videoing here today and why I haven't been videoing at all for the last few days again. It seems like I just about get into the swing of filming and then I'm just choosing which of my things I'm going to use. Yeah, I just get into the swing of filming and then life throws me a curveball and I have to have a break and, you know, rearrange things and then come back to it, and it interrupts your flow. You know, you sort of get into the routine of how things work, how you do everything. And when you come away for a few days, it takes quite a lot to get back into it again. So I'm just clipping my template into the middle of my signature, I'm trying to hold my pages together where I've got them arranged so that nothing moves. So I'm trying to open these clips one-handed, which is, and I'm being very, oh my goodness, look at that, it's just broken. Yeah, this is proving to be a bit tricky. So pop that on there. Luckily I had 5 here, so that's my big news. It's going to be nice, you know, to have both my girls home a lot of the time. Yeah, I like having them here, so and it's a nice compromise. You know, she's working away for 2 weeks and then she's home for 2 weeks, so it's nice for her to be away doing exciting things, but it's nice for her to come home in between, and it's nice for us to have her home. So right, I've just punched holes using my template right through. I mean, if you've been here before, you will have seen me do this lots of times, just poking my awl through my signature right in the middle until I've come out onto the spine. So now I can take my template off. I'm trying to do so without moving anything or any of the pages. I'm just literally sliding my clips to take them off, so that hopefully everything is still in the right place. And now I need to thread my needle to start sewing. Now, my favourite needle for sewing signatures together is this one, and I'm wondering if the eye is big enough for this thread. I've got a vague recollection it was a bit tricky before to thread. So, oh no, that's all right. So I think I need 3 times the height. So it's so long since I've sewn a signature in, I've sort of forgotten what I'm doing. So let's have a bash and see how we get on with this. The reason I like this needle is because it's not sharp, so it doesn't tend to tear the papers as I'm sewing. So hopefully that will be the case today. So we'll get our, do you know what I didn't do? I didn't check that all these pages are up the right way. I just clipped them together. I better do that before I start, because you know what's going to happen. I put everything where I wanted it, but I didn't actually check that everything was where it should be and up the right way. So, a bit silly as I've put the holes in it now, but let's just make sure. I'd hate to be, you know, to get here and there's something upside down, or, you know, folded in half and missed completely. I'm trying not to move anything as I do this. That all looks okay. Let's just make sure there's nothing loose in this half. And I won't do all the signatures with you today because it's boring to watch me do the same thing over and over again. Once I've done the first one and we've decided whether it's successful or not, and let's hope all my holes are still in the same place. Yeah, I will do the rest off camera so that you don't have to be bored out of your mind watching me do the same thing over and over again. let's just hope that that's all. I might just ease through and just make sure that I have got everything back in the right place. Right, that looks okay. So let's get our book cover. We're going to start off going in through the middle hole because I'm going to have my threads dangling on the inside of the book, and I've come straight through to the outside of the book, and then I'm just going to tuck this end underneath this clip here so that I don't accidentally pull the thread all the way through as I'm sewing. Now I've got to find this hole on this side, so that's where it is, there. So it's easier to do it that way for the first one, but I don't know if that's going to work with the rest of them. So I've gone up now to the second hole. I'm not coming through my pages. There's going to be a lot of turning up and down here. This must come through there. Oh, knocking my ruler on the floor with my arm. Okay, let's come through there. And then I'm going up to the top hole, the very, very top one. And obviously the first signature is going to be the easiest because I'm not trying to manipulate all the other pages, but as the fourth signature goes in, I'm not going to have a lot of room to move things around. It's going to get trickier and trickier. So I'm hoping I will be able to do this. So from number 1, I'm going back in to my second hole here, and then the same here. I'm hoping this will come through. This was the one I was having trouble with. It doesn't seem to want to come through. There we go, got it. And then from here, we're going to go down to the fourth hole. It's going to go past number 3 where we started and go into number 4. Through the cover. Then we're going to go down to number 5, and again I'm going to poke my needle through to see roughly where the hole is to help me, and then back into the 5th hole here. Oh, that was a nice easy one. Let's come straight through. So we're going to number 3 there, and then we're going to go back up to number 4. If we can. Doesn't want to come through. Right through the cover. And then we're going to end up back in number 3 again. So for that first one, it wasn't too tricky. finding these holes. She says, struggling with the last one. But as I say, it is going to get more tricky as the book becomes fuller. So that will be fun. There we go. So let's take my needle off, take the clips off, and tighten these up. I can't even pick it up. I'll split the thread at some point. So I'm just now trying to ease the thread through, you know, to pick up any slack. Not easy to do when you have no nails. I want that to come that way. Why is it not coming through? I must have gone through the thread at some point, which is not what you want to do, because then nothing is sliding properly. That one's not moving. I think it's in there. So we may have to redo this one. Although that slid out quite nicely, so I'm not sure that that was the problem, but still. Right, let's hope I don't pull the whole thing out now. There it is. This is the nice thing about using wax thread. When you do accidentally go through your thread, it's usually quite easy to get it back out again. Not always, depending on which way you've gone. This one looks like I'm going to have to actually unpick. Yeah, it's this one that's gone through, so I'm going to I need to think about this now, don't I? Right, I'm going to pause while I sort this out, because you can't really see what I'm doing and it's boring. Okay, I finally sorted that out. A bit of a palaver, but it's done now. So I've got my strings fairly tight there. I've pulled them tight but not too tight through the centre of the signature, and I just need to make sure I've got one on each side of that centre string. So I'm just going to tuck this one under. Ideally you'd come up on either side of that, you know, as you come up through the middle hole for the last time, but it doesn't always work that way. I'm going to tie that in a double knot, and then I'm just going to snip these off so that I know they're too long, but I can decide then whether I want anything dangling off them, or whether I want to tie them short, or cut them short I should say, or whether I want to tie them in a bow, or whatever I want to do, you know, as I make my final design decisions. So that's the first signature sewn in, and it wasn't too bad finding those holes from the outside cover, so I think I'm going to continue and sew the rest of the signatures in. I'm just going through and, you know, giving this paper a bit of memory about where I want it to lay, in the book. So as I say, I'll pause again and pop the other 3 signatures in, and then I'll come back and show you what it's looking like. But that's where we are at the moment. That all seems to be in there quite securely. And now I don't have to worry about the you know, the paper coming away from the actual cover, because it's all connected together now. So I'll pop the rest in along here, and then I will decide afterwards whether I'm going to cover these strings up or not. But I'll pop you on pause again now and do the same for the next 3 signatures as I've just done with that one. So I'll see you shortly. Right, I'm back again. That's all done now. All the 4 signatures are sewn in, so they're attached to the cover. That's where they're sewn in. I'm hoping that this will sort of round in use and won't stay straight, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. I've never done a cover like this. I don't really know how it's going to end up in the long run, but at least all the pages are in there now. So all I need to do now is finish making you know, the other journal cards for the other pockets, add a bit of decoration here and there, and decorate the front cover. So I'll be back again. I'm not going to say when, because I don't know. Obviously now my home setup has changed. I don't know how often I'm going to be able to film videos and get them uploaded, but I will come back as soon as I can and show you what I've done. But in the meantime, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate your company. Stay safe, enjoy your own crafty time, and I will see you all again soon. Take care. Bye bye.